It's your boy. My bad. I just got home from watching Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and I want to talk about it because the first movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, is one of, if not my favorite non-anime movie I've ever watched of all time. I'm a huge animation fan, to be honest. It's like what I find the most enjoyment watching is animation in all forms because I think it's just way more interesting than what you can do in real life, obviously. But the first movie is an actual masterpiece, just top to bottom. It has one of the best soundtracks in any movie I've ever seen. A great story. It's good for literally at all ages. Like I watched it when I was I don't know. I watched it when I was like 5 years ago or whatever, which I was 15. I watched it again today, and it was still just as good as it was the day I watched it. So, well, I watched Into the Spider Verse yesterday, but still, just great, great movie. I own it on Blu-ray and everything. I fucking love it. It's a great movie. So I was obviously excited to watch Across the Spider Verse. I haven't had any spoilers, and I also won't say any spoilers because obviously, but I have to say, this movie slaps, bro. It's so good. It it's probably the best Marvel movie I've ever seen and the best Spider-Man movie. I know it's not technically Marvel, like the actual Marvel, but it's my favorite out of like any other Marvel movies I can remember. It's probably the best animated movie I've ever seen. It's just every single scene looks beautiful. It's crazy, man. It looks so good. The soundtrack is just pretty much just as good, maybe a little worse, but not like actually noticeably worse. Man, the villain, he's cool. Main characters are all awesome. It's just a really good movie. The only complaint that I do have that I can't just I can't just let it slide, I guess, which is I'm sure the complaint that a lot of other people probably have, is it is very clearly a bridge to the next movie, which isn't the end of the world, but it really does feel like there's no climax of this story, I guess. Like there is, and it's still really good, but it the thing that you're how do I describe this without spoiling it? Here, the thing that you're looking forward to the whole movie just doesn't happen in this movie. Um which isn't terrible. I it's just it's not like the movie is bad for it because the movie is still really good, which is why it's surprising. Because you'd think with a complaint like that, like I'm gonna be like pretty upset about it. I'm not that upset about it somehow because I think the rest of the movie is just so good. But it is a little frustrating. Like I left there and I was like, man, I have to wait another like year until I see the sequel to this. That's terrible. Um, it's a fucking banger though. Like I said, like the art style is still great. The story is still great. It's just all good. It's actually funny as well, which is hard for me to find anything really funny. Honestly, I think I've watched too much anime and it's melted my brain. There's not much funny anime. There's like Love is Wars about it. That I've seen at least, or shit that tries to be funny. And sometimes it's so dumb that it's funny, like a lot of Bleach filler arcs were like that in Naruto, but that's about it for that. But man, it's been great. It was a great, great movie. Now a lot of people are saying it's the best of the trilogy. So well, trilogy so far. So obviously comparing it to Into the Spider Verse, I don't think I wouldn't go that far. I do think Into the Spider Verse is still a better movie. Having just watched it, but Across the Spider Verse sets up some fucking crazy things that look like it's gonna be really cool. Um, and I cannot wait to see more. I really do hope. I think something really fun that they should consider is maybe making but this is the problem. Is if it's a spin-off like series, I feel like it's going to be dog shit, but I think a spin-off series in that you like in that world would be so good. That would have been so nice. Imagine we get a spin-off series that still looks good and is like short but still pretty good and we go explore a bunch of the other Spider-Man like multiverses because it's just so cool. Like they set up this such a cool universe thing, like world building, and we don't really see a whole bunch. Maybe we'll see a lot more next movie, and then I'll be appeased. But I want that like desperately. But Like I said, I don't think it's as good as Into the Spider-Verse, but Into the Spider-Verse is like an actual masterpiece, like a 10 out of 10 for me. So, take that with a grain of salt. Like this is still like a 9.5. Like it's still really good. But I think you have to go in, because this is how I went in. I went in knowing that it ended on a really big cliffhanger. From somebody, I don't remember who, but somebody told me that, and I went in. I was like, okay, so we're gonna end on a cliffhanger, and it ends on a pretty extreme cliffhanger, but it's pretty good, man. They're gonna have a lot of people watching that next one for sure. And the first one, like I said, is an absolute masterpiece. And that's about it for the Spider-Verse movie. And then just one other like quick thing. You may notice the next 2 days I'm not probably uploading a Star Wars video, and that is my sincerest apologies. I am currently grinding Street Fighter 6, and I'll be completely honest, I haven't edited in like a week, so I'm gonna have to catch up for the next 2 days. But you should expect a video like this where I'm just kind of talking about whatever. The Street Fighter's been great as well, by the way. Street Fighter 6 is one of my favorite fighting games already. It's so fun. It's so good. I've also been playing Mortal Kombat. I've been playing a lot of fighting games. Uh, I think I mentioned it in one of my Sekiro videos. So if you've been watching for a long time, you would know that fighting games are my shit. Like I love fighting games. So maybe some videos on Street Fighter, maybe. I'm not to the level where I'm like actually good to watch or like fun to watch though is the problem. So I think I'll just continue to get better off camera, and then eventually I'll start recording them. That's about it. Later.